All right, guys, you have asked for it, and I will deliver. Now, this is a hamburger, so the first frame is the frame that it rests on. So, like, if you were to go to the website where I used this, here we go. Webflow is slow, but these are hamburger icons, right? So these are different ways that you can, you've got like this 3 stack, and then it transforms into an X, and there's a lot of options out there, and then you've got a few that actually look like hamburgers. It's funny. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do this. There's a lot of free options out there already. And but I wasn't happy with any of these. I wanted something unique, organic, something more fluid. That was pretty fluid, but I didn't like the round edge, like the squareness of it. I wanted something with the round edges, right? Yeah, so I just wanted something a little bit more fluid, and so I created this right here. So that's that. And so that's what we're gonna create today. Here you can see it in action. And I'll do, it'll be a separate video, but I'll show you how to implement it into a Webflow. So here we go, mobile, and boom, there it is. So hamburger, you click on it, turns into the X, click on the X again, turns back into a hamburger. I'll show you how to make that happen in Webflow. And but to get started on this, you're going to need Illustrator. So if you're not paying for Illustrator or the Creative Suite Illustrator, you're going to need Illustrator and After Effects. So both of those programs are required. You're also going to need to install BodyMovin, which is by Airbnb. So here's what I created right here, and I'll just pull this up. So you can see it. I've got 3 layers. The first layer is just the hamburger itself. Now we're gonna take all this over here. So to create this, to create it, it's very simple. You take your pen tool, you click one spot, you drag it over, and you hold Shift, right? And then you click another spot, you create a straight line, press V, you select your selector, and then you got your straight line. Now once you have your straight line, you might think, okay, well, you can hold Alt. I need to duplicate this, hold Alt, you'll see the cursor change, and you can duplicate it. I hold Shift so I don't go left or right, it like kind of locks it just up and down. You hold Shift and Alt at the same time, and then release. Okay, and then you hold Control Duplicate to make that same thing happen again. Control Duplicate, I meant Control D for duplicating it, and now you have your thing. Now I wanted it to be a perfectly square box, and so I used a you can grab the square tool, hold Shift, get a perfect box, boom, take this, cancel out the fill, right? And so you can say, okay, cool, this needs to be on the corners, right? So you can see how, well, this is, if you hold Shift, you can kind of get right there on the edges, right? And then you can see how this needs to be in the center, and this needs to be on the very bottom. Is that centered? Okay, that looks centered. Okay, so I was using that to create the perfect square. Then I didn't like the proportions, so I moved it down some, and that gave it a little bit more of like a beefy proportional feel. Okay. Now, if you know what you want your animation to do, and what I want my animation to do is kind of like fly into the centerpiece, I'm gonna need a stroke and a path that resembles that animation. And what I actually found out later was I didn't need to do both sides, because what I was going to do is I was going to just use one side, right? So really what I need to do here is I need to get a circle, right? And develop this circle right there. And that's not, so we're going to intersect that with this one, and then we're going to intersect it with that one. And then I'm going to press A to select this direct selection tool. And I'm going to click on that one, delete it. So there we go. There is our half of the pie. And then you might be thinking, okay, well, this is a path, and this is a path, and this is a path. Well, what you can do is you can select them all and go to Edit and Path, or sorry, Object and Path, and then Join. So now this is one path. Okay. So whereas it was not one path, it is now one path. We're actually going to undo that little bit there because we need to duplicate this whole thing, because I do want the hamburger alone. And now we can, and we don't need this. And now we can object, path, join path. Okay, so, and now we need the X. Okay, and so for my X, all I wanted to do was take this, and we're going to I'm going to command copy, right? Edit copy, and then I've already copied it. Copy, but then paste in place. That's what I want to do. So when I grab the new one and I hold shift and rotate it, I get my X. So when you hold shift, it locks it into the 45 degrees. Boom, you're there. And so that's it. These are the elements that we will use in order to create this. Now, to get these all centered and aligned accordingly, I'm going to right click, I'm going to select all these, right click, and then hit group. So these are now in a single group. And I'm also going to put these on their own layers. So this is going to be one layer, this is going to be another layer, and then this is going to be another layer, right? Now, they all need to be centered together on the artboard. Now, actually, this artboard is way too big, and so I'm going to create a new artboard and do something like that, right? Just around this guy. And I'm actually going to click the artboard tool again and delete this guy, because that's really all we need. So we got our new artboard, and we're going to take this, and we're going to come here. Whoops. That's interesting how that's not. Okay. So our artboard needs to actually be a little bit bigger. Just something like that. Okay. And then we're going to right click this group, and we're going to take this over here, and it's going to intersect perfectly. So this is our final product. This looks a little bit different than my final product when I did it, and that's because I learned from my mistakes and there was some trial and error, but realistically this is all you need. And this is it. So when I bring it into After Effects, right, we're gonna delete this guy. Well, actually we don't need we'll go ahead and delete this. We don't need it. So now that we've got this guy, we're gonna do File, Save As, Hamburger Tutorial, and I'm going to go into my folders here where I've got all my different folders, and I'm going to do Adobe Illustrator series. I guess we'll do that. New folder, and we'll do Hamburger Tut. Okay. So we got our asset saved. Okay, just hit save. And then we go into After Effects. All right, we can close this out. Hey everybody, I wanted to stop this video here as it's already long enough. And if you'd like to continue watching, you absolutely can. Follow the playlist, follow the video series on how to make this hamburger tutorial. I just don't want the videos to go over too long because, you know, it gets hard and it's easier to do whatever. Like and subscribe, please. It's free and it helps me out a lot. Comments. If you just write anything, that works really great for the algorithms of YouTube. And if you want to request something, I'd be happy to do something for you. Just write a request, and I read every comment. So, I'll definitely see what you have written, and I do most of what people request. So, yeah, just let me know. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. And if you don't want to continue the video and you just want to purchase the hamburger icon, you totally can. I'm gonna sell it for $5. And save you a couple hours. Save, I get $5, and it makes me really happy, and I can continue doing what I do instead of going and getting a real job. So that's very helpful. Thank you very much.